Today we're going to take a look at the 2022 Honda CRF450R. We'll talk about where this bike fits in Honda's current dirt bike lineup, and we'll go over some of its specs and features and what Honda changed for 2022. Plus, we'll start it up and show you what this insane 450 sounds like and a lot more. But first, if you guys find any info in this video helpful, please take a second and hit the like button. Liking the video and commenting below really helps with growing this channel through YouTube's algorithm, and I really appreciate the help, guys. So first up, where does the CRF450R fit into Honda's current model lineup? Now, I could make a 10-minute video on that alone, as Honda has about 28 different 450 models they're making, and then you have all of the other CRF models too. In short though, if you want a trail bike, this isn't for you. Well, technically it can be used as a trail bike, and some guys do, but usually they are experienced and know what they're getting into and are fully aware of the pros and cons of using this model as a trail bike. Now, if you want a box stock bike for the trails, Honda makes better options, but if you're wanting the baddest race bike that Honda has built for the public, this is it. However, if you really want to step it up, you have the Works Edition version of this bike, but we'll have to touch on that in another video, as I would start rambling on for another 10 minutes about why it costs $2,800 more than this bike that comes in with an MSRP of $95.99. I want to take a quick second and say thank you to Southern Honda Powersports for opening their doors to me and allowing me to come pick through their inventory for these videos. They are a massive Honda Powersports dealer here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with tons of inventory from new Hondas to used Harleys and everything in between that they sell to people from all over the USA. So check out the link in the description below and head over to their website to see if they can save you some money on your next toy. And now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump into a little more info on the 450R. So what did Honda change for 2022? Not a lot, as it went through a massive overhaul in 2021, but we still see some updates for this year. They tweaked the ECU mapping for better rideability, especially in the lower RPM range. Then you have the Showa 49mm coil spring AF2 forks low-speed shim stack that has been revalved to generate firmer settings for both compression and rebound damping. Oil volume reduces 8 cc's to 380 cc's, and there are now 13 adjustment positions rather than 15 for rebound, with 15 for compression as before. And then you have a complete revalve of the Showa MKE AF2 rear shocks low-mid and high-speed shim stack that delivers a firmer overall setting for compression damping. Plus, there are now 11 adjustment positions for rebound from the 8 on the previous iteration and 6 for high and low speed compression that was 12. Oil volume also increased 1 cc to 422 cc's. And now let's jump into the engine and drivetrain. It has a 449.8 cc liquid-cooled 10-degree single-cylinder 4-valve, 4-stroke engine with Honda's Unicam setup that's paired up to a 5-speed transmission. Now, I don't have concrete horsepower numbers at this second, as American Honda won't advertise them, but the last generation had 60.8 horsepower, and countries that do put out numbers said there was a 0.6 kilowatt increase last year with the engine tweaks, so that puts us in the 61 to 62 horsepower range for this bike. And I could go on for another 15 minutes on the engine and drivetrain alone, but most of you don't want to hear that, so I'll include a link below over to HondaProKevin.com where I dive deeper into that technical info if that's what you're into. Now, how is Honda helping you handle all of this power? An electronics package that I don't think any of us would have believed would be on dirt bikes if you asked a few years ago. It's crazy how far these things have come when it comes to the amount of tech that's crammed into them. You have a gear position sensor that allows the use of 3 specific ignition maps for first and second, third and fourth, and then fifth gear. There are options for standard, smooth, and aggressive ignition maps, selectable via the left side handlebar mounted switch that Honda calls the EMSB for engine mode select button, enabling simple tuning depending on your conditions. In addition to that, you also have the Honda selectable torque control system that offers 3 levels of intervention. The HSTC monitors RPM spikes in response by temporarily limiting torque by retarding the ignition timing to help with rear-wheel traction. You have 3 different modes that differ in drive management levels for different conditions or rider preferences that we'll show you on the screen right now, and thankfully you can turn it all off if you want to. And the bike also has the HRC launch control to help you off the line with 3 different settings for different conditions. And next up, we'll touch on some of the chassis and suspension. Its frame uses narrow main spars and features optimized reinforcement ribbing on the back side of the pivot plate, contributing to this frame weighing in at only 18.5 pounds. And the subframe has a simple design to help bring its weight down to only 2 pounds, while the swing arm is narrow for optimal clearance in ruts, while its rigidity was tuned to maximize rear-wheel traction and cornering. The front suspension has a 49mm inverted Showa coil spring fork and a gas liquid separation structure with 12.2 inches of travel, while out back you have Honda's ProLink rear suspension that uses a fully adjustable Showa shock with 12.4 inches of travel. And then up front for brakes, you have a 2-piston brake caliper, 30 and 27 millimeters with a single 260 millimeter disc with a single piston caliper in the rear on a 240 millimeter disc. And those brakes are helping stop the black DID rims that are wrapped with Dunlop's GeoMax MX33 tires with a 120/80/19 in the rear and a 80/100/21 up front. And now we'll quickly touch on a few numbers. You have a 1.7 gallon titanium fuel tank that helps bring the bike's curb weight down to only 244 pounds. It has a 38-inch seat height, so if you're the kind of person that wants to be flat-footed, I hope you're a giant. The wheelbase comes in at 58.3 inches with 13.2 inches of ground clearance, with the overall width and length coming in at 32.6 and 85.9 inches. And now we'll start it up, let you guys hear what it sounds like, and then we'll come back for a few more things. And that's the 2022 Honda CRF450R. What do you guys think about it? Is there anything else you wish Honda would have changed for 2022? Let's talk about it down below in the comments section, as this is more than just me rambling on in a video, it's a conversation. But on that note, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks again for all the support, and we'll see you in the next one.